Hello everyone and welcome back to the Chassis Variant series, my Self-Critical Rocket, and here we are with the Kintaro. This is the 19B and the only version that can be built in MWO using existing variants in the game. Although in the tabletop there aren't really that many different variants of the Kintaro. There's the C variant, which although usually stands for clan, it actually means C3, so Curitan, and that is using a C3 system and nothing else. And there's a K variant which has things like improved NARC beacons. Now normally I would consider using it, except reading up on improved NARC, the tech is actually pretty good and usually has different types of ammunition. Improved NARC things can have like exploding beacons, a version that can basically shock a target so it can knock out their systems temporarily, stuff like that. And improved NARC sounds like a pretty nice weapon system. Whereas unfortunately that isn't in the game, and I don't really see the point in building a version that has that kind of utility to it, because it's not in the game, so it wouldn't really have the same effect. It's a shame though, because that version has 2 Streak 6s and some ER mediums, but the 19B that we're looking at here is a Star League version. It's the Royal variant, which means it was probably used by the Cameron forces in defense of the League and the Terran hegemony at the time. And it upgrades the LRM-5 to a 15, keeps the 2 medium lasers and the 2 SRM-6 and the NARC beacon, and also has some extra armor and double heat sinks and all the rest of it as usual, and some case protected bins. Though to be fair, I did remove the case because the thing has an XL engine and they're pointless on Innisphere mechs. They're pointless on most mechs anyway. I mean, the clans get the benefit of the fact that they don't explode, but in MWO they made it that the clan mechs now lose about 50% of their speed, roughly thereabouts, 40% of their speed, so there's still a detriment. Now this was a blinder of a match. I really enjoyed this fight. This was so much fun. One of those rare games that it's just a slog. You know, you want it to be like a real, I mean, to quote Jim Ross, a real slobber knocker, and that's what this was. This one was just a drag-out brawl. Outside of that Cicada, who I think did a bit of a disservice to his team by just charging in there and dying instantly. I don't understand players who do that, other than I guess they're just trying to complete an event. Like, he did fire a UAV and he dropped an artillery, so I'm guessing he was trying to get points for that. I don't know. It always kind of irks me when players do that. They just die instantly. But it's unfortunate, because I think it robbed his teammates of an extra mech on the field quite early on. But not to say that the rest of his team did bad, because this was, as I said, a hell of a fight. Now, I quite like this version of the Kintaro. Again, not quite sure why it was left out from the start. There's no particular technology here that's unique or needed the Civil War era tech to be added. It just seems to have been left out because reasons. I mean, when MechWarrior Online came out of beta, it was already using the Star League era tech, so yeah, not sure why. It just never made the cut. And it is different enough. It's got its LRM-15 and the double heat sinks and stuff in there. I mean, really the big difference is the LRM-15, and honestly, it does make a big difference. That extra punch at range means that it can still help to soften up targets, and then once it gets close, it can start dumping those SRMs and the mediums. The great thing about this is it doesn't overheat. The weapons actually cycle slowly enough that you can't fire all of them in time to really overheat yourself. You could spike it a bit, but that's about it. The mech also has, with a big enough XL engine, has enough maneuverability that it can quickly get itself in and out of combat, but without risking too much of its armor in the process, and it can take quite a few hits, I've noticed. And it's good, because the Kintaro is one of those mechs I think gets largely overlooked in the grand scheme of things. I mean, even in Battletech itself on the tabletop, I don't think the Kintaro is even a GM's first choice as an opponent. But in reality, it's a very effective mech. It has a lot of SRM capability in there, and it can do a lot of damage very quickly. And you don't see them as often. I remember at one point they were just great as splat boats. You did used to see a lot of Kintaro splat mechs back in the past. Maybe they'll come back into fashion, I don't know. Maybe some future patch will alter that, if PGI is still going to do any kind of semi-regular, made a word, semi-regular patching coming up with MWO. I don't know what their plans are going forward, given the production schedule, MechWarrior 5, not making any more new mechs for the time and that kind of thing, so it'll be interesting to see. It'll also be interesting to see how dated these videos may or may not be, depending on the results of MechWarrior 5's release and whether MWO is still going in a year's time. or more. Who knows? Maybe they will have moved on to MechWarrior 5, and going back to this will just be an interesting little commentary about what the state of the game was then compared to how it could be in the future. So yeah, I'd be interested to see what they come up with in that regards. But this one, Kintaro 19B, try it out if you haven't already. It's quite fun. And if you haven't tried out the Kintaros, they're worth a look at. They can run with standard engines. They can run with light fusion now. And yeah, you can get some pretty nasty mid to short range combat builds out of the things. You can also run them as all LRM5s as well, just as a spammer if you really want to. But yeah, they work really fun, really good mechs. I enjoy them, and it's a great redesign compared to the original art. Woo, that original Kintaro art's bad. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.